Part 69. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Dalby in the World. Chapter 681. Chapter 681 Yuj, Farewell 1. My child? No more. Ha ha ha. Jian suddenly raised her head and laughed wildly, with 2 lines of tears streaming down her face. Jian suddenly got off the bed, pushed Tang Yuj hard with both hands, and even yelled at Grandma Tang. You all get out of here, I don't want to see you Tang family members. It was you who killed my child, so get out of here. Xiao Man'er, I know you can't accept it for the moment. Let's go. Don't get excited. You have to take good care of yourself now and don't leave any sequelae. Grandma Tang comforted Jian and saw that she was so emotional that she even went barefoot. He ran down and backed away nervously. Grandma, my child, oh, Jian cried and laughed, feeling so sad that she couldn't help herself. Tang Yuj wanted to step forward to comfort her, but was pushed away by the hedgehog-like Jian. The strength in his hand was surprisingly strong, not because she had just had a miscarriage and her body was still weak. Instead, she pushed him down hard and sat down on the ground. Go away, please give me some space. Can you, the Tang family, disappear in front of me? Jian roared, her eyes filled with sadness and anger. Looking at Tang Yuj's angry eyes, the expression on her face became more and more intense. The colder it gets. Xiao Yuer, let's go. Grandma Tang stretched out her hand to pull Tang Yuj. Tang Yuj shook his head and wanted to stay with Jian, but Jian grabbed the vase beside him and smashed it. The angry Jian was much stronger than usual. Considering her condition, they still left the ward. Finally pushed everyone out, she wrapped herself in a quilt and cried bitterly in the ward. She didn't even know how long she cried. Child, child, child. Why are you willing to leave? I haven't fully felt your presence and I haven't figured out how to take care of you in the future. Why did you leave your mother? Why is this happening? Why? Jian locked herself in the ward for 3 days and refused to open the door no matter who came. No one was allowed in except the doctor. She has not even wanted to eat in the past few days. If the doctor had not given her nutritional supplements, she might have starved herself to death. Jian sad look did not change until Dad Qi came back from a business trip abroad. Seeing Qi Zhan in person, Jian cried like a child, so sad that she couldn't help herself. On the 4th day, she was finally willing to eat something. Tang Yuj, who was outside the door, had been waiting outside for a long time. When he heard her crying inside, his face kept looking bad. Next to him, Tang Feishan's face was equally ugly. Hearing Jian cry reminded him of Qi Lili's cry when they broke up, and he felt better. Fei Chen, when my father-in-law comes out later, help me go in and comfort Jian, Tang Yuj said sadly. He tried to go in several times in the past few days, but was kicked out. Grandma Tang tried to go in yesterday. Although Jian still ignored Grandma Tang, at least she no longer kicked her out. Brother, don't worry, I will comfort my sister-in-law. The crying inside gradually quieted down, and Tang Fei walked in with a slightly heavy expression. Jian, who was crying, slowly discovered Tang Feishan appearing in the room. Suddenly, Jian became excited again and yelled when she saw Tang Feishan. Get out of here. I don't want to see you. Get out of here. Tang Feishan's face froze slightly, and he slightly twitched the corners of his mouth. End of this chapter. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Dalby in the World. Chapter 682. Chapter 682 Yuj, Farewell 2. Sister-in-law, don't get excited. Tang Feishan came in to comfort Jian on behalf of Tang Yuj this time. Unexpectedly, he received the same treatment as Tang Yuj before he opened his mouth. I told you to get out, Jian Yuman grabbed a pillow nearby and smashed it. Tang Feishan did not hide, Jian Yuman grabbed the water glass on the table and smashed it over. I feel sick when I see you Tang family members. Get out of here. Qi Zhan comforted Jian Yuman and waved to Tang Feishan, telling him to go out quickly. He finally calmed Jian Yuman's mood, but aroused her anger again. Tang Feishan wanted to say something, but seeing Jian Yuman's mood getting more and more agitated, he reluctantly opened the door and left. Seeing Tang Feishan, who was also driven out, Tang Yuj only had sadness in his eyes. Hey, it seems that it's useless for you to take action. Normally Jian Yuman still liked Tang Feishan very much and was very satisfied with this brother-in-law. It was a pity that Qi Lili was not with Tang Feishan in the end. For this reason, Jian Yuman was also dissatisfied with Tang Feishan. Perhaps seeing Tang Feishan aroused Jian Yuman's sadness. Thinking of Qi Lili who had left her hometown, her anger rose again. I stayed like this for another day. On the 5th day, there was one more person. This person was the divorce lawyer Jian Yuman hired before. Seeing lawyer Li's appearance, Tang Yuj's face turned very ugly. After 5 days of recuperation, Jian Yuman's complexion has slowly recovered, and she has begun to take the supplements brought by Qi Zhan, and her mood no longer fluctuates. Tang Yuj frowned when he saw the lawyer and followed him in. Is she still thinking about divorce now? At this moment, there are only Tang Yuj, Jian Yuman, and lawyer Li in the room. This time Jian Yuman saw Tang Yuj coming in and did not kick him out. Instead, with a cold face, she reached out and asked lawyer Li for something. Lawyer Li immediately handed over the divorce agreement in his hand, and Tang Yuj's face became even more ugly. Jian Yuman signed the divorce agreement in her hand with her name and handed it to Tang Yuj. Sign the divorce agreement. We will have no relationship from now on. Jian, I know you are sad to lose your child, and I am equally sad, but we can't divorce because of this. Tang Yuj couldn't accept it. These past few days, Jian Yuman has been crying inside. He was never happy outside. His heart was tortured, and he was so painful that he couldn't take a breath several times. He cared about the mother and son more than he thought. Losing the child, apart from Jian Yuman, was the most painful thing for him. The children are gone, why should we be together? The child is gone, but we can have another one in the future. We are all still young, only in our early 20s. Jian Yuman shook his head and smiled sadly. No, I won't have another child with someone who doesn't love me, so just sign it now. I won't sign it. I said I will never divorce you in my life. Tang Yuj firmly refused. Whether she has children or not, he will never divorce her. The thought of divorce makes his heart ache, especially after the child is gone. Ha ha ha, really? Jian Yuman's calm expression changed at every turn, and she looked at Tang Yuj angrily. Do you love me? Do you care? If you care about me, why haven't you avenged your child so far? Haven't they all found out that the murderer is Murong 11? Why didn't I see you press Murong 11 in front of me? I think you are. It's hard to bear it. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Daobi in the World. Chapter 683. Chapter 683 Yuj, Farewell 3. Jian Yuman laughed mercilessly, and the smile on his face became more and more sarcastic and colder. Tang Yuj frowned and explained anxiously. Who are you listening to? The murderer is not Xiao 11, so I didn't bring her to you. Ha 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 ha. No. Tang Yuj, to this day, you are still defending Murong 11. Yesterday Lu Rong came to me and told me that the investigation revealed that the murderer was the bird's nest that Murong 11 brought. I also had a miscarriage after eating the bird's nest. You actually said it wasn't her. You were too biased. I thought you would at least scold her and punish her for the sake of the child. I didn't expect you to directly protect her, or say that she was not responsible for the child's death. Then who will avenge the child in my belly? Tianyuman roared, her emotions gradually losing control. Tanyuj listened to her in silence. Have you finished venting? Can you talk about me? Tianyuman responded with a cold snort and threw the divorce agreement in her hand directly in front of him. You sign the divorce agreement first, and then I will continue to discuss it with you. Tianur, you know I won't sign it. Don't sign? Why haven't you signed? There is no bond between us anymore, why are you still unwilling to let me go? I can't figure out why you don't sign. Obviously if I sign, you can live happily with Murong 11, why are you insisting on not getting divorced? She couldn't figure out why he was still insisting on this. I won't sign. No matter what you say, I won't sign. Xiao 11's matter was framed. Just imagine if she was the murderer, why would she use the bird's nest she brought? This is not to let everyone know about her. Is he the murderer? Tanyuj explained, it was not that he had never thought that Murong 11 was the murderer. Just like Murong Ye, he understood Murong 11's personality very well, and she would never do anything to harm the child in Tianyuman's belly. So from the beginning, he did not believe that Murong 11 was the murderer, even though his family members believed that she was. Tanyuj's words made Tianyuman's heart freeze, and there was only a sneer on her face. You bastard, you did it on purpose, you must have done it on purpose. You are still defending Murong 11. Maybe she just thought of this, so she would arrogantly poison me in her own name, but you have been protect her. If you don't care about the child in our belly, I will go alone. Tianyuman was wearing patient clothes, pushed Tanyuj away hard and walked out. Tanyuj immediately grabbed Tianyuman, and his voice became much softer. Tianur, I will definitely avenge our child, but I must find the right murderer. Xiao 11 cannot be wronged in vain. Unjustly accused, Tianyuman shook him off ruthlessly, took a deep breath, tried to calm herself down, and picked up the divorce agreement. Tanyuj, if you're a man, please be more relaxed. If you want to protect her, you should continue to do so. Don't disgust me in front of me. I won't get divorced. Tianyuman didn't want to continue listening to him defending and shouting about not getting a divorce, so she pushed out the door with her lawyer. The poor lawyer was just pushed out without doing anything. Through the door, Tianyuman spoke to Lawyer Li in a choked voice. Lawyer, since Tanyuj is unwilling to divorce, you can apply for divorce through the court, and the follow-up matters will be left to you. Even after she said so much, Tanyuj still refused to divorce. It seemed that she could only divorce through legal means. End of this chapter. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Daobi in the World. Chapter 684. Chapter 684 Yuj, Farewell 4. Tanyuj's face turned completely green. He understood that she was emotionally unstable and sad due to the miscarriage, so he kept tolerating it. Everything is negotiable with him, but divorce is absolutely non-negotiable. Tianyuman, do you think you can get divorced if you want to? I, Tanyuj, won't allow it, and the court will not invalidate our relationship. As long as I, Tanyuj, live for one day, you will be my wife, Tanyuj. Please stop talking about divorce. I thought about it. As for the person who killed your child, I will help you find it. Tanyuj was resolute, with a livid face, and swore that he would never divorce her, even if she thought that as long as he didn't want to, they would be husband and wife for the rest of their lives. Before Tanyuj left, he glared at Lawyer Li angrily. If you appear in front of me again and help her get a divorce, your lawyer's license will be revoked. He has long been dissatisfied with this lawyer, who dares to divorce Tanyuj. There is no such person in this world. The court will not process her divorce application. Tanyuj returned home quickly. He had been outside Jianyuman for the past few days and had not handled the matter properly. It was time to handle it properly. Tanyuj has not found any evidence in the past few days to prove who killed the child in Jianyuman's belly, but he does not need a reason. He has already judged and analyzed who the murderer is. He carefully recalled what happened when Jianyuman ate the bird's nest that day. For example, Lu Rong had been diligently letting Jianyuman eat the bird's nest. And the episode that happened at that time, Chi Yuking knocked over Jianyuman's first bowl of bird's nest. Later, I investigated the first bowl of bird's nest and found that there was no abortion pill. So he was almost 100% sure that the people who killed his child were the two Lu Rong and Chi Yuking. Lu Rong, the evil Lu Rong. Her existence made him do evil in the first place, destroying his parents' marriage, becoming a third party, and now she wants to kill his child. Such a vicious woman, he will never allow her to continue to dance around in front of him. Tanyuj rushed home frantically, wanting to catch Lu Rong and teach him a lesson. Just when he was about to get home, he received an anxious call from Chi's father. Jianyuman was missing. Missing. After hearing the news, thinking of her excitement when she left just now, a bad premonition arose in her heart. Tanyuj used almost all his manpower to find Jianyuman, but half an hour later, he received a clue from the police station that there was a beautiful woman in hospital clothes on the Lupu Bridge on the Huangpu River, standing on the bridge asking for help. Suicide. Hearing this, Tanyuj almost lost his balance. He was so uneasy that he was almost scared for half his life, especially when he saw the photo of the woman sent from the police station. I saw Jianyuman wearing hospital clothes, her face slightly pale, her hair flying in the wind, sitting on the edge of the bridge, as if she was about to be blown off at any moment. Even so, she was still incredibly beautiful, like a fairy from heaven who was about to return to heaven. Tanyuj took less than 10 minutes, speeding to more than 200 yards, running through countless traffic lights, and finally caught up. When he saw Jianyuman standing on the bridge, looking blankly at the beautiful sunset, her feet dangling on the edge, under her feet was the Huangpu River. The sky was already approaching dusk, and the dim sunlight shone on the bridge. On Jianyuman. Jian'er, what are you doing? Tanyuj's voice was trembling as he approached the bridge cautiously. End of this chapter. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Daobi in the World. Chapter 685. Chapter 685 Yuj, Farewell 5. Hearing Tanyuj's voice, Jianyuman slowly turned around. Her face was only as cold as death. When she saw Tanyuj, she frowned slightly. Do not come. Okay, I won't go over. Please come down. Don't stand by the bridge. You are very scary, Tanyuj coaxed in a soft voice, and slowly approached Jianyuman. Jianyuman's dull expression suddenly became intense. One hand grabbed the railing and the other waved quickly, with a grief-stricken expression on her face. Don't come over. I won't allow you to come over. If you come over, I'll jump down immediately. Tanyuj's face instantly turned as pale as snow, and he hurriedly took several steps back. His body was shaking uncontrollably, as if a piece of flesh had been cut off in his heart, blood was constantly flowing, his hands and feet were cold, and his heart was twitching violently. Jian'er, don't scare me, why are you standing there? Jianyuman's expression gradually became calmer, with 2 lines of clear tears streaming down her face, and she looked up at the sun that was slowly setting in the distance. Our baby is gone, and my heart has been ripped out. I can already feel them in my belly, and I could hear their heartbeats not long ago. I watch them grow little by little, but suddenly it's gone. Jian'er, we are still young and we will have another baby in the future. It's gone, it can't happen again. Jianyuman suddenly roared heartbreakingly, losing control of her emotions again. I can no longer feel their presence. I just slept. Why did they leave me when I woke up? Why? Jian cried, tears streaming down her face. Tang Yu's heart ached even more when he saw Jian crumbling, and it was so difficult to breathe. Especially when he saw her sitting on the railing, looking like she might fall off at any time, he felt chills all over. I'm sorry that I didn't protect you, mother and son. It's all my fault. Ah, babies, why did you leave mommy? You left so cruelly. Why don't you take mommy away together and let my mother and son reunite in heaven? Jian hand holding the railing suddenly let go. Open your hands, and look so shaky that even a gust of wind can blow her away. No, Jian, don't be overwhelmed with thoughts, come down quickly, the babies are just leaving us temporarily, not forever, there will definitely be more babies in the future no matter how hard we work. Tang Yu felt that all the blood in his body was frozen, and unprecedented pain appeared in his heart. Seeing Jian painful cry, he felt better. He was probably in more pain than her. Every word she said was like a needle piercing his heart. Yuj, I'm sorry, I can't bear the pain of losing my babies. Can we meet again in the next life? Jian slowly turned back and looked at Tang Yuj, who looked pale but insisted on getting closer to him, trying to pull her down. Jian, I don't want the next life, I want this life. Don't you still have me? You still have me to accompany you. Ha ha ha, Jian raised her head and smiled, tears flowing slowly, like a small flower swaying in the wind, which could be destroyed at any time, but still bloom with the beauty that only she can have. Hair fluttered with the wind, sliding across her face and lips. The baby doesn't want a mother anymore, and you don't even love me, so why should I stay in this world? End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Daobi in the World. Chapter 686. Chapter 686 Yuj, Farewell 6. The baby doesn't want a mother anymore, and you don't even love me. Why should I stay in this world? Jian murmured to herself, lowering her head and looking at the turbulent river under the bridge. It has a magical power and is pulling. It attracts her and attracts her to jump in. Jian eyes seemed to be about to jump, and the three words that had long appeared in Tang Yu's mind blurted out. I love you, don't leave me, don't jump. When Jian heard Tang Yu's words, he slowly turned around with a sad smile on his lips, obviously not believing what he said. Even if you make me happy, I'll be happy to hear it, thank you. No, I didn't coax you, I really love you. Tang Yu clutched his chest and said affectionately. He is wrong, he has always been wrong. He kept treating her as just his sister, and even when asked by Jian again and again, he always gave the same answer. He can deceive others, but how can he deceive the self who is timid and cowardly and dare not love deep down in his heart? He had fallen in love with her a long time ago, but he just didn't want to admit it. When you have someone, you are faced with losing that person. He was afraid that after giving all his sincerity, he would end up alone and bruised. People's hearts can change. Just because she loves herself now doesn't mean she will love him in the future or in this life. At that time, my parents fell in love and got married, but my mother faced my father's emotional and physical cheating. She watched her father cheat on her again and again, and even fell in love with other women, but she was helpless. Guarding him, but waiting for his disappearance. Betrayals again and again completely ruined my mother's life. Having witnessed the love between his parents, he looks strong on the outside but is fragile on the inside. Bao Bao hid his heart deeply and prevented himself from touching love, which ultimately caused the relationship between them to bleed and crack. And all this was caused by himself, and he couldn't even protect his woman, which made her feel insecure, so she wanted to escape again and again, until she lost her child and completely collapsed. He was wrong, terribly wrong. Jian, please give me another chance, okay? I don't, Jian Yuman shouted at Tang Yuj, not believing what Tang Yuj said. I never want to see you again, not in this life. Jian Yuman's words were a heavy blow to him. He can understand her mood, so he will not continue to argue with her. Now as long as she can come down, he is willing to do anything to save her, and in the future, he will slowly use his sincerity to convince her. Tang Yuj took out the divorce agreement, the one signed by Jian Yuman. Jian, as long as you are willing to come down, I will sign the divorce agreement and completely disappear in front of you. Okay, Tang Yuj said this to coax Jian Yuman. Jian Yuman stared at the divorce agreement in Tang Yuj's hand, her eyes shining slightly. Are you really willing? Are you willing to let me go? Yes, as long as you come down, I'm willing to do anything. After saying that, Tang Yuj took out his pen and signed his name. When he signed his name, his hands were shaking, but the simple strokes were so heavy. He has signed numerous cases with projects exceeding tens of billions, and none of them were as difficult as signing a divorce agreement. The marriage was just to take her under his wing so that he could take care of her, but now he is so reluctant to let her go. Long live. It's almost cruel. It's almost over, please slow down. End of this chapter. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Daobi in the World. Chapter 687. Chapter 687 Yuj, Farewell 7. It turns out that love was deeply rooted in me unconsciously. He just signed the divorce agreement, it was just a divorce. He gave her an unstable marriage for so long, but he used his future sincerity to let her see him, pursue her again, and let her marry him again. Divorce doesn't mean everything, as long as she survives. Jian, you are free. This time you are really free. Come down. Tang Yuj held up the divorce agreement in his hand and coaxed Jian Yuman. Jian Yuman saw the divorce agreement, but her emotions that had finally calmed down became agitated. Ha 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 ha. I divorced you. I am alone. I don't belong to anyone anymore. Ha ha ha. Jian Yuman raised his head and smiled. Tang Yuj's expression darkened completely when he saw Jian Yuman's appearance, and he immediately dropped the divorce agreement in his hand. Jian, if you don't want a divorce, then throw it away. If you want to stay by my side, stay with me forever, okay? Tang Yuj's voice became much softer. Don't leave me. If you leave me, my life will be worse than death. Please, Tang Yuj said humbly. Jian Yuman stared at Tang Yuj with complicated eyes. She tilted her head and looked at him, and the tears on her face stopped. I. The hand holding the railing tightened and he lowered his head sadly. Yuj, I'm sorry, Jian, my dear wife, can you come over to me? Tang Yuj approached Jian Yuman, getting closer and closer, only an arm's length away. The closer Tang Yuj got, the more serious his breathing became, and he even dared not breathe for fear of scaring him if he breathed too hard. The baby is calling me, Yuj, the baby is calling me, Jian Yuman suddenly shouted excitedly, pointing not far away and waving her hands, with a bright smile on her face. Yuj, farewell. Jian Yuman smiled brightly, waved towards Tang Yuj, jumped into the surging river. Tang Yuj was so frightened that his blood flowed backwards, and he rushed over quickly, opening his hands to save Jian Yuman. But he was still a little slow, watching helplessly as she broke away from his arms and fell. He reached out to catch her, trying to catch her falling body, but failed. Jian, my Jian. Tang Yuj was completely stunned. He climbed up the railing without hesitation and wanted to jump down. But Murong Ye, who was rushing over, saw him, opened his arms and hugged Tang Yuj, and dragged him back hard. Tang, don't think too hard. Xiao Ye, let me go quickly. Jian is down there. She jumped. I want to go down and save her. Let me go quickly. She is still waiting for me. She is still waiting for me down there. Tanyuj struggled excitedly. He went crazy. His face turned from pale to red, and his hair was messy due to the struggle. He was rushing down like a madman. It was not only Murongye who came over, but also Tang Feishan and Tang Xingai. Tang Feishan watched Jian Yuman jump down. At that moment, his heart seemed to have been hollowed out, and there was a magic power that lured him closer. He also got closer, and what he saw was the waves rising from Jian Yuman's fall into the river. Lilei, his eyes were confused. He seemed to see Chi Lilei jump down. His hands and feet unconsciously tried to climb up, but Tang Xingai held her back. Second brother, wake up, that was my sister-in-law just now, not my sister-in-law Lilei. Your Majesty's writing is so heart-wrenching. It hurts. It's okay, I'm so cruel and I'm going to leave now. Woo-hoo-hoo, I can't control my mood, I'm a bit too strong, let me cry for a while. Your Majesty's writing is so heart-wrenching. It hurts. It's okay, I'm so cruel and I'm going to leave now. Woo-hoo-hoo, I can't control my mood, I'm a bit too strong, let me cry for a while. End of this chapter. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Daobi in the World. Chapter 688. Chapter 688 Yuj, Farewell 8. Manman? Not Lilei, Tang Feishan's eyes flickered, and he slowly regained his consciousness. He missed Lilei so much, and he was actually in a trance just now. If Xingai hadn't caught her in time, he might have really jumped after her. Tanyuj over there was going crazy, struggling violently, trying to break free from Murongye's restraints. Xiao Ye, let me go. I want to go down and save my wife. Please let me go. I won't let you go. The river below is so strong that if you jump in, you will save your life. Unless you kill me, I won't let you go. Tanyuj's face turned red and he struggled violently. If Murongye hadn't been exercising all the time, he might not be able to restrain him at all. Now he couldn't hold him anymore. The excited Tanyuj was too strong. Let me go, don't make me hate you. Chiener is down there, he wants to save her. She is still waiting for him. Murongye hugged her hard, her face turned red. Why are you two standing there stupidly? I can't hold your brother anymore, Murongye shouted at Tang Feishan and the others. Tang Xingai rushed over immediately, looking at Ji Fan who had just arrived. At this scene, although I didn't see Jian Yuman jumping down, I still guessed the tragedy that had just happened. With a gloomy look on his face, he walked up to Tanyuj, stretched out his hand without hesitation, and hit Tanyuj the face. You useless thing, why are you making a fuss? You know how to make a fuss, why did you go there earlier? Ji Fan punched Tanyuj in the face one after another, hating that iron could not turn into steel. Ji Fan showed no mercy at all and beat Tanyuj crazily until his face was black and blue. I've warned you a long time ago not to hide away. You still don't believe it when I say you're in love with Jian Yuman. Now do you want to live or die? Is now the time for you to live or die? Your calmness and wisdom are developed. Is your brain working these days? You still claim to be smart, but I think you are the stupidest idiot in the world. Ji Fan scolded Tanyuj while beating him. I feel embarrassed when I see you like this. Why are there a bunch of emotional idiots around me? When it comes to emotional matters, their IQs are negative. Ji Fan was very angry. He still liked Jian Yuman, his sister-in-law, but he didn't expect that the two of them would make the situation so bad in less than half a month. After being beaten by Ji Fan, Tanyuj gradually regained his senses, and his crazy eyes slowly calmed down. He stretched out his hand to wipe away the tears on his face, stood up and croaked. Xiao, call all the people immediately and go to the Huangpu River to rescue him. If face sinks, You immediately transport all the lifeboats owned by the company. Professional doctors are on standby at any time. Zingai and Xiaoji, you and I go down there to find your sister-in-law. After Tang Yuj explained everything, he quickly rushed to the car and drove Jifan and Tang Zingai under the bridge. The most important thing now is to find Qian Yuman, whether she is a corpse or a living person, he must find her. She will be fine, she will definitely be reluctant to leave her. If Qian'er knew that she was so sad, she would definitely be reluctant to let go. The incident of Mrs. Tang Yuj's suicide by jumping into the river instantly spread throughout the upper-class society. Countless acquaintances sent people to help, and for a time the entire river, from downstream to upstream, was filled with people and boats. Although the hope is slim, everyone still contributes powerfully. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Daobi in the World. Chapter 689. Chapter 689 Punishing the Culprit 1. When Tang Yuj was about to jump off the bridge in pain, he saw a small figure swimming quickly in the river. The speed was very fast, and we swam ashore in less than a few minutes. The soaked woman was wearing hospital clothes, her face was slightly pale, and she was walking a little faster. Isn't it Qian Yuman who was dying on the bridge just now? At this moment, her face was expressionless. She looked down at her wet clothes and sighed deeply. This scene is so tiring. She rubbed her red and swollen eyes and walked forward quickly. Not far away, there was already a car waiting for her. It has been 3 days. For 3 whole days, Tang Yuj could not find Qian Yuman. No matter how much manpower he used, he could not find Qian Yuman. The only thing that was salvaged was Qian Yuman's shoes. It's gone, can't be found. Not even a body was found. But for the shoes, he would have thought the scene was fake and just a dream. She really jumped into the river. Qian'er, my Qian'er. After searching for 3 days and nights, Tang Yuj rushed home frantically with red eyes. The atmosphere in the Tang family has been very depressed these days. Grandma Tang has been lying in her room to rest because she is too sad these days. Everyone else's faces were full of sadness, having lost a pair of unborn twins one after another, and then lost the whereabouts of Qian Yuman. Everyone knows that Qian Yuman is in serious danger, and the chance of survival is very small, especially after so many days, her body has drifted to nowhere. No one dared to say the word death in front of Tang Yuj. After 3 days of searching, everyone was a little tired. Tang Yuj's eyes were red, his expression was cold, and a terrifying aura of chill emerged spontaneously. He was a little haggard, his face was covered with stubble, and he was covered in dust. He has been frantically looking for Qian Yuman these past few days. As each day passes, his heart becomes colder. 3 days of searching made him clearly understand that even if he found her, she might not be intact. Tang Yuj rushed home and saw Lu Rong watching TV on the sofa. He grabbed her clothes and pulled her to the ground. He kicked her without mercy. Lu Rong lost her balance and fell head first. Ah, it hurts so much, I'm killing someone, Wen Tao. Lu Rong screamed miserably, making miserable screams as if being beaten by a crowd. Tang Yuj didn't listen to her scream at all. He raised his leg and stepped on her ribs, as if he was stepping on the floor, without mercy. Lu Rong's pitiful screams immediately attracted Tang Xinglu and Tang Wentao. Seeing that Tang Yuj was like a demon from hell, the father and daughter kicked Lu Rong one after another. Tang Xinglu was too frightened to move, but Tang Wentao angrily blocked her. Tang Yuj, you're not a big kid, what are you doing to your little mother, stop it. Tang Wentao ran over and wanted to stop Tang Yuj from committing violence, but was pushed away by Tang Yuj. At this moment, he was violent and cruel, his eyes were red, and he stared at Lu Rong as if he wanted to kill her. Not long after, everyone from the Tang family arrived. Tang Feishan and Tang Xingai saw it and immediately ran over and held Tang Yuj with their bows. "Brother, why did you hit my mother? Brother, calm down and talk to me if you have any questions." Tang Yuj smiled cruelly, shook off his brother's hands, and did not rush over again, but glared at Lu Rong, who was struggling to get up from the ground. "Your Majesty's writing is very enjoyable, and I want to continue, but I'm lazy, you know. I'm just too lazy to write, but I really want to write." End of this chapter. After the flash marriage, the character collapsed. Author, Daobi in the World. Chapter 690. Chapter 690, Punishing the Culprit 2. Lu Rong was stunned by Tang Yuj's sudden anger. She didn't expect that Tang Yuj would suddenly attack her without any warning. She may never forget the look Tang Yuj gave her just now. It was too terrifying. Those bloodthirsty eyes seemed to kill her. At that moment, even she thought she would die in his hands. She had never seen Tang Yuj's eyes and attitude like this before. He was as terrifying as a devil, and the pain in his body was nothing compared to the fear in his soul. Lu Rong hid behind Tang Wentao, not daring to look at Tang Yuj at all, but even so, she could feel those terrifying eyes staring at her, wanting to cut her into pieces. "Tang Yuj, are you crazy? After all, Rong is your elder, and you actually hit her." Tang Wentao protected his wife with an angry look on his face, shocked by his son's sudden arrival. No one knows what happened to Tang Yuj. Everyone's first thought was that he was crazy to do such a horrific thing. "Brother, I know it's hard for you to accept that something happened to your sister-in-law, but you can't take it out on my mother." Tang Xingai gathered around his mother to check on her. This sight made her feel even more distressed. Lu Rong was in a very embarrassed state. Her body was covered with dust, scars, and bruises, and the corners of her mouth were bleeding. The meticulous lady's hair was messy and her clothes were wrinkled. The expression was very painful, and the eyes were frightened. Tang Yuj snorted coldly, pointed at Lu Rong and cursed. "This bitch, I have long been unhappy with her. Not only do I want to beat her, I even want to kill her." Tang Yuj suddenly took out a gun from his arms and pointed it at Lu Rong. In front of Lu Rong was his father Tang Wentao, and next to Lu Rong was Tang Xingai. No one expected that Tang Yuj would pull out a gun and point it at them, and Tang Wentao's expression became even more serious. Hearing the commotion downstairs, Grandma Tang rushed downstairs and hugged Tang Yuj's hand. "Xiao Yuer, what's wrong with you? Put down the gun quickly." Grandma Tang was frightened by her precious grandson's actions and kept coaxing Tang Yuj to put down the pistol. Tang Yuj's hand was as hard as steel, pointing directly at Lu Rong, with the murderous intent in his eyes getting stronger and stronger. "Grandma, go away. I don't want to hurt you. I have to teach Lu Rong a lesson today. This woman has never done any good since she came to our house. First, she caused her mother to have fetal motility when she was pregnant with Feishan. She acted openly and openly. My father's mistress is now deliberately trying to kill my child. Very good, you succeeded. You killed my two little darlings, and now you also killed my Chiener. This account must be settled with you today." Tang Yuj's words shocked everyone. Tang Feishan, who was holding Tang Yuj, slowly let go of his blocking hand. He and Tang Yuj hated Lu Rong equally. Her appearance and the haze of destroying her parents' marriage were always in their hearts. Now that he heard that his sister-in-law's death was related to Lu Rong, he no longer wanted to stop her. "What nonsense are you talking about?" Lu Rong's voice trembled with fear, but she still wanted to defend herself. "Nonsense, you know very well whether I am talking nonsense or not." Tang Xinglu raised her voice and mustered up the courage to walk to her mother's side. "Brother, please don't accuse my mother indiscriminately. My sister-in-law was obviously harmed by Murong 11 and has nothing to do with my mother. This so-called truth is something that almost everyone in the Tang family knows. End of this chapter.